Okay.
So we're going to get started. I'm sure more people will join us as time progresses, but we'll get Vincent rolling here.
Yeah. So last week, actually, I'm talking about how to use use WinDBG and Outlook Spy to see things. Let me actually just do one thing. How do I solve a problem? Okay. I give you the example, then I go through each step, then I find out we actually just released 10.2. Okay. So so what happens is we have called send and filer. Okay, send and filer. So send and filer, it look like this. So okay. So this is not in my window. Okay, this is my window. Let me actually just check. Okay. So the send and the file we know we're going to actually send, and the copy of it will be filed. Okay. So let me actually just then Jeremy report a bug. So then I find out the whole thing and find out it's a big problem. So how I actually solve this? So let me actually just check. Okay. So what that means? So what happens is if I go to the send items, right? So I actually send a message. Okay. Okay. Say session. Okay. So when you do a send and a file, okay, sorry. When you do a send and a file, we're going to actually pick a folder. This is a send a file dialog box, right? So I actually click here. There's a file to multi-locations, but I just check it. So I say this and do a send a file, right? So what does the send a file mean, right? I do a client-side send and a file. Okay, now look, it is actually the weight there. Okay, eventually we'll actually file this and with the check mark. Okay, so I wait a little bit. Okay, you will actually check. Okay, now last week, okay, Jeremy opened a ticket. Okay, opened a ticket for me. He said, for one customer, is a slow network connection. One customer have this problem. What is the problem? It is the problem is it in the sender file. It first change to the check mark. Okay, then just wait another minute. It actually come back to the regular like a send message, right? So then I actually check out. He says, what is the thing behind it? Usually we file it. We file an email, right? Let's say I get a GitHub. We file email, okay, with a quick file, right? It actually should stay the icon, right? Then it is change to this and change it back to the IPM.node. He says, what is going on? So you have to think about it, how the people actually working. So then I actually not only this one, not only here, in my sync issues, it generates a conflict. Okay, general conflict. So I actually send a message to Mohit. So what happened is to Vinod and Mohit, he says, what is going on? So let me actually just check my message. Okay, check my message. I want you to see how do you actually solve this kind of problems. So let's say I can do a to Mohit. Okay, we actually just this weekend Mohit and wait a minute, to the send items. okay, to Mohit. Okay, so what happened is I will show you the conflict message. Okay, so last week I solved lots of problems. Wait a minute, where's my message? Sync message. Okay. Okay, I cannot find the sync message. It is actually somewhere. So then I find out not only actually revert back the message class, and I got a conflict. I said, what is conflict? Why is it conflict? So I actually talked to Jason and Barrett. They know Yamify. I said, why does it got a conflict? Then I have a theory. So I want to pursue it. What happens is when you actually do a standard file. So this is my theory. So you have to, when you solve a problem, you need to actually have a theory. So I actually saw the conflict and revert back. Then it suddenly hit me. This is what happened. Okay. When you actually send a message, you will get two copies. One is a local copy, and then it goes to Exchange server. So the Exchange server, it has the copy, but the local copy and the server copy, they're different, right? Now, what happened is we actually got the notification that you got a new message in the send items. We actually just stamped the properties there, right? We actually just send the properties there, say, filing locations, filing dates, filing status. Not only this one, we changed the message class. Now think about how the Outlook will perform. Outlook will actually, originally your local version, it is a local copy, but Exchange has another copy. Then they will do a sync. Now you see what happened. It actually, if you do a sync, then it will have a conflict. Because I actually look at the conflict message, sync message. It says message class is conflict, and a location is conflict. It says it will automatically merge, but when you merge it, okay, the servers, the message class of the server overrides the client side. That's why it's reverted back. Then I thought about it because then I asked Harold, and he says, this problem we existing for a long time. But I say, Harold, why not ask me to investigate, right? So what happened is then I actually thought about it is there's a big problem. When we actually file the send item, we should let Outlook sync first. After the sync, then we modify, because now the server side and the client side will get. So we have to wait until now I actually go back to so first one, I want to prove my thing is correct. How do I prove my thing is correct is, I did a very simple thing. So what happened is, I want to actually prove mine is correct. So I actually sent myself a message, okay, self a message. I discuss. So when I send to a message to myself, when I see this one, I immediately drag out to the desktop, okay? Then I wait for 3 minutes. Then I drag out another one drag out. If my theory is correct, they should be different. They should have a different. So never before we actually invested in this problem because the EMM send a filer. So what happens is I do, okay, I just tested. This one is a pre-drag job. As soon as actually in my inbox, I drag out. This one is test. It is after 3 minutes I drag out. I want actually just to see they are different or not. So what happens is, now, which tool I use? Of course, MFC Mappy. So let me see, where's MFC Mappy? So what happened is I actually go to MFC Mappy. MFC Mappy, I have a create test. Then I look at it, okay, one file. So I side by side, I open another one. Okay. Test. To my surprise, look at this. Look at this. I use the MFC Mappy. This one, the pre one has 70 properties, but this one has 117 properties. There's a day and night. And in all our products, we actually never actually notice the standard file because I'm not involved in the standard file. Okay, so what happened is, so in the case of this one, we actually, in all our time, we actually save the copy. It is not the right copy. It depends. It depends. If you actually, the send item, if you actually send item when you're running it, you actually, when you actually save it as a single copy, you know, I mean, the single copy is good. But if you're actually in a standard file just to run, and you just get a standard file, the timing is very close. In that case, you will get a 7 copy. You will not actually get the real copy. Not only this one, I actually go to Mohit's machine. Mohit is always wondering, he said, why am I actually have too many conflicts? And I go to Penny's machine. They have a, you know, she has like, you know, like 10,000 conflicts. Because it actually, the conflicts, she never is look at it as a sync folder. And it actually look at it, the sync folder, it is actually, it's very, it actually is go back, you know, goes back as far as like 2014. But no one actually noticed, you know, until you actually use this tool. So then we actually coming up with solutions, right? I want to come up with solutions. How do I actually solve this problem? So I talked to, you know, this one. I say, they already released. We have 10.2 build is 178. As soon as I saw this one, I talked to Mohit and, you know, they immediately realized this is a serious problem. Because if you actually just release it, right now it is actually, we go back around actually doing this one, and it will be like so complex. We actually stopped the, like, you know, like deploying, we actually build like a weekend, we actually just, Mohit is testing all the way. So how do I solve this problem? It is very simple. We actually look at the new message, which property is in the new one. We wait for that property come up, right? So, you know, you see, I actually just, it's very hard for me. I just print out of the MS print and print it out and compare each property. Which one is the common one? Which one is, you know, in the old one? Which one is the new one? Then we actually coming down to one property. Okay, I think it is called the PR, create a seed. The create a seed is as soon as, you know, you actually put it in the, as soon as you actually send, you know, send item local copy one, you don't have this property. You know, I look at it, you know, the ones is the create time, they have create time, but they don't have a creator. But I actually look at this one. Now we actually coming up a solution. It is actually says, when you actually go to the send item the list, you actually look for emails. Okay, send item items. Okay. We know in the send file, it actually either we put a luggage tag or we put in the CC or BTC your like a email address, folder's email address. We do this. If you got this one, but you actually just check, is this property still created, you know, still the property is there or not? If it is not there, you wait. You're not going to file it. Okay? But if you, as soon as you see this property coming back, and you will file it. And we actually solve this problem. And we actually testing the whole thing. You see? So we actually coming, you know, all this kind of problems, you know, you know, what happened is these kind of tools like MFC mapping is invariable. And you not only this one, you have to, when you actually debugging things there, you are going to actually think what is the things behind it. You know, you're not only like you just ask Vincent to do. You know, like you guys, if you have the same tools, if you have same thinking, you can always come up with the same solution. You know, you think about, you know, how do I actually solve this one? You know, because you know we have so many like problems that hit our developer, right? If you guys can actually use this kind of tools, always look at it, think why it is happening, and in the mind of, let's say, Microsoft, I always think about what is Microsoft. It is actually all Chrome. like a control. What they do? They made a mistake too, just like us. So I actually solved this problem, and we actually make another build. And not only this one, I ask Sergey to do the same thing for the client. I think it will solve this problem once for all. Same item, no conflicts, no like icon change, and all this kind of thing. Yes, yes.
Did you think about the inbox filer too? Because
so the inbox filer, did you think about it? So then I actually send in the filer, you have this problem. Is the inbox filer have the same problem? Now, inbox filer usually you don't have this problem. I tell you why. Because inbox filer is you always get the server copy first. Then you download it to your local machine, right? So in that case, it will be the same copy. It will not be a conflict. But the send item is very special, and it actually is going to there, going to your local copy first. Then exchange it, stamp it. Then you got this one. You understand? So and I actually look at all the properties there, and it is actually one of the properties. It is actually it's very interesting in the new one, but it's not. Look at it. It's called the PR send mail entry ID. We actually say this entry ID. It is not in the new one. What is it? Actually, this entry ID is there's one configuration is that in Outlook it says if I send item where I actually put to my local, it says don't put a send item. I want to actually put it into say my thing. So this one will be get deleted after you sync. It actually says I'm going to move your copy to the another folder, then because this one it is actually says where you moved, where the destination moved, and we actually investigating this one, and it is actually it's really beautiful. So what happened is we can actually say now you will see in the new standard item that send. Then we actually test a lot, right? Test a lot. Sometimes these are things. Sometimes on Mohit's machine, it says, this actual property, PR creator state property is not there. Even you wait for like say long time, but in that case we have a data loss if you don't send a file. So we actually made another decision. You say you wait for let's say 15 minutes. If 15 minutes later this property still not come in, I'm going to actually still file it. Now we actually have a very complete algorithm. And we actually test it out. You see? So what happened is, you see, I just use the very basic tools, you can actually solve the problem. Okay? So, this one is a very, very powerful. It is actually says, this one, we actually say, I will show you in the send item. Now, how the behind, Vinod is going to actually present you another session maybe. He will explain a little more detail. But if you learn this one, then you will know the basic. Basically, we actually for the send and the filer, this is really smart. Okay, it's really smart. So really smart. So it actually do a folder search. It says it creates a hidden folder. Okay, maybe hidden folder. The hidden folder it says, I actually, if any message meets our criteria and put in there, he actually go to the search folder and file it. Now, what is the search folder criteria? It says, in your CCBCC, you have a worksite.com email address. You want to copy it. Or if your actually subject has iManage _ luggage tag, right? And all this kind of sorts of things. As soon as it appears, so it is actually when you will see what happened. Okay, I will show you. Okay, what will happen? Okay, so you will see as soon as this property you stamp the property, you wait. It is although in the send item it will not show. As soon as after you think it actually the creator seed is there, then it will be search folder. When you have a search folder, the IWCS client side send file will kick in and file it, and we actually will show you this. So let me actually send Vincent. Okay, I use this one. Okay, remember, I actually used there's a folder. It's called the iManage WS inbox file folder. Okay. Okay, so send. Okay. Another thing is you can actually just filing like this. Okay, you can filing like this. Okay, you don't need to do a send a file. Sometimes you can actually do this add. Okay, select. You can select here if you have like a prompt or something. Then you send, and you will see in my send item is there, but it's not in the search list. We are waiting for the sync to happen. Okay. Okay, so you see, it's not immediately the filing it. We are going to wait over there. Okay, so we know go. Sometimes it actually wait for pretty long time, you know. Another thing is you can actually just look at it. You know, iMessage. Is this the creator is not coming up? And as I said, you know, this property sometimes is not coming. Okay, it's only coming like very late. It depends. Very, very interesting. Okay, so another thing. Okay, so sometimes I want to actually see. Okay, you see coming? Did you see? I wait for a long time. Wait for a long time. Now I wait for the send the file to kick in. You know, IWCS, the client side WCS to kick in. There's a little bit delay, I think. Oh, in order to see the log, okay, in real time, okay, I'm going to actually do this. Okay, go to File. So I'm going to actually just to see IWS log. So where it is the log? Of course, it is the local app data. Okay. Now we actually put the log in one directory. Used to be actually spread around. I hate this, but you know, I actually went into EMM and put it in the one directory. But now it is actually it's there. So in iManage, in work, in log. Now I want to actually see what is IWCS doing this. How do you do this? If you use Notepad, but you cannot actually see monitoring the last one, right? You want to actually see the tail. So okay, now it is filed. It is filed. So you see, it is filed, right? It is filed. So it's for the long time to file. But the benefit is we actually get rid of conflict, remove all the bugs. So what happens is I want to actually see is, you know, if I use I actually use the bare tail to look at it, right? So I always use if you go to Notepad, it is no good, right? So what happens is I will use the bare tail, you know. Wait a minute. Because the screen size is different from my one, and I use the bare tail. Wait a minute. So where's the bare tail? God. Okay, so I close this. Where's the bare tail? Okay, bare tail there. Okay, so bare tail there. Okay, bare tail. So you know you can actually open the file. Okay, so I already put in there, sort by date. I go to WS. Okay, now actually there's one small flag over there. Okay, it's a follow tail. Follow tail. If you actually follow tail, it will actually go to the go to the last one. You will see it will go to BC. We actually did did like the API, REST API. So for me, write the API, you will see client V2. So we have a V1 client and a V2 client. V2 client is actually support Strutters and all this kind of a new interface. Whenever you actually got the API, I actually put in the log, okay, what actually you JSON data you send to the server and what you get from the server. So I also usually print out of a time, this, server how long take usually, okay? So you can actually see this, did you see URL? We actually send over there. What is the data? Send over. We actually send over. The JSON send over the data. He says, I want to implement this. I want message class is this, and the send data is this, and warning required or something like that, and this. And the server replied. Once returned, it give me this one. After you import it correctly, it will give you the JSON. It says it's MIME type, it is version 1, what is the workspace you actually the email belong to, and all this. So you can actually just use the, sometimes you want to actually just check this one. You can actually go here, it's always like go here, and you can actually connect and copy it and go to online JSON viewer, and you can JSON to correct the JSON or not. What does JSON look like? And you will actually check, which property. Sometimes you send the wrong JSON and all this, okay? So, I just demo to you how do you, behind the scene, how do you solve one actually very critical issue, like this way, right? Okay, so I'm almost half an hour. Okay, so now I'm going to actually start a new topic. After I actually show you the, another thing is I find out is sometimes it's you have to keep in mind. Sometimes when you actually go to a message, right? This one is, it's very, very, very tricky. This one I already look at it, right? It's a file, which means it have a, PR create sit there. But then I look at the, Outlook spy, I didn't see the create sit. You know why? It's because sometimes if you use the Outlook, when you use the Outlook spy to look at it, it gives you cache one. It gives you older one, not the ones that's online. You have to be very careful about this kind. I always like to be very, very careful. As a matter of fact, I'm telling you, this one have Outlook version, have a grid version, have a mapping version. They are all not synced. You want to actually sync it correctly, to do this. It is actually, it's very, very tricky, and you will actually do this, okay?
So MFC mapping would be better for that?
MFC may be better. MFC map, because MFC mapping actually use the like an event. If it's an object changed, you will get a new one. This one has I think it's treated as a bug. Originally, I actually look at it. The first time I look at it, you don't have this property. Then, even if after synced, then he actually look at the property there, and it's not there. All these kind of things, they're very tricky. You have to pay very detailed attention to it when you actually solve this kind of problem. Is this one is good or the bad or something like that. Okay, got it? Okay, so I'm going to actually so this is the the Outlook the thing I actually just right now it is actually did a very great job. It's put in the client side, send the file an inbox file. Of course, for the inbox file, right now I configure the email address, folder email address for the BCC. So in the BCC, that is why I will not actually see the inbox file, right? So you will not actually see the inbox file is running. But if you actually put a CC, field here, or put a luggage tag in there, I actually disable luggage tag right now. They want me to test this one. If you luggage tag, you will find out, the inbox filer is the same way. But for the inbox filer, we're actually not looking at that, create, a state one, because I pretty sure the server copy and the local copy is always the same, because we downloaded the copy, the server copy to the local copy. Okay, got it? Hello, any questions?
I have seen conflicting with fire.
Yes.
With communication server.
Communication server. So you can actually, if we can actually just you always pay attention to the the sync folder to see which got a conflict. I remember I actually went in there to solve lots of conflicts folder. You have two different machines. You remember, send items to different machine for Barrett, and I saw that they all gone, and I didn't know this is new type. So we actually gone. Now we solve. I think use the new algorithm. We solve once for all. There's no conflict. At least for the standard file. Okay. So I just demo to you how do you actually solve the Outlook. Outlook itself is a beast. I think but not only this, when you understand behind the logic and greatly improve your analyze skills.
When I have seen conflicts with inbox filer. When you do a send file, it goes to the com server.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So when the com server files it, sometimes.
Yes.
It occurs very fast that the location, sometimes the filing location in the com server places is like maybe a host name, and the inbox filer almost at the same time plays a different property for the host.
Yeah.
So you will get a conflict with that kind of situation.
So after you learning this, hello, you should have figured it out. You should Okay, you don't need my help, and then you can figure it out yourself. Okay, use this kind of thing. Okay, so now I'm going to actually talk about second topic today, and it's a crash. Okay, as a matter of fact, I actually look at the Kanban board. I have 4 crash. Every crash is coming to me. So I actually solve word crashes, auto crashes. They're all because out of this. As a matter of fact, in ILDA, people complain about file crashes. Mohit come back, he says, we have a file crash. Neil came to me, and Beverage and the Diamonds, they have Outlook hand. Okay, so I'm going to actually just because Outlook is such a beast. So for me, if you have a crash, I always can solve. Okay, if you can actually, but you need time. So let's say I have a crash. What do you do? What do you do? Right? So what do you do is this. What do you do this? Okay, so what do you do is let me actually get my PPT. Don't call me, okay? The first rule is don't call me. You can figure that out. Okay, so I did a very simple one, right? So very simple one, okay? Let me actually just explain, okay? First one is we have a debugging tool, okay? Okay, John, okay? Always, the only thing I use is WinDBG. That's not true. I only use 2, okay? I have 2 tools. One is the WinDBG, one is the ViewStudio, okay? That's the only thing I use, okay? Only thing I use. The first is WinDBG, okay? The WinDBG is a great tool. It's a great tool. You know why? WinDBG is because it's very light. If I actually install on the customer side, I only 3 minutes I install. I can debug. You see what I mean? So it's very simple to install, right? But I also use ViewStudio. ViewStudio, it is a beast because it actually have when you install it, it's 12 gig, 9 gig, right? But you know what happened? But lately I use Visual Studio a lot. You know why? Because I have, first one, I have a copy. It's the most productive copy of Visual Studio in the world because I actually give everybody a copy and log in and use it. Because I love iManage. It's so fast. I have a copy in my here, so I will demo to you. Okay, so look at this. Look at this. Okay, I have iManage here. I have wait a minute. I have a workspace. All the goodies here. All the goodies here. Okay, I have like a 40 plus different tools, debugger tools. Any debugger tools you can think of. Okay, okay, like a Beartails, WinDBGs, like a pixel editors, or something like that. Just in case people want it. I logo copy. I have it, right? I have a enterprise version Windows, SQL, and just in case you want to install something because it is so fast. As I actually tested for the I think Patrick did a great job. For the speed. Speed is much faster. I have a 9 gig of the Visual Studio. I download only like 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes. It's installed on a fast machine is 20 minutes. Think about it. It's really, really, really fast. And if you install it, it gives you 30 days free trial. After one, I have to log in as my Vincent account. And most people actually, even over there, that support, they don't have it because they expire something. But my account, August always giving me a special. All the Visual Studios, highest privilege. I actually download everything. So what happened is I actually use it, and so one thing is very clear. Okay, so you can use WinDBG. You can use. I actually always give you a link. When I actually give Outlook link, iManage link. Don't forget, you always turn off the trackable. I hate the trackable. Because I love iManage, but I hate the trackable. If you hate the trackable and send the messages, I give up. Then I actually always turn off the trackable and give it to the user, right? So I actually use this tool to solve hundreds of the Outlook crashes or this kind of. I'm telling you, it is actually a great tool. Not only solving crashes, I always debug on the client's machine. You guys should actually if they don't know how to use it, I teaching them how to use, Vela or Jody or Sham Chandler. They don't know how to use it effectively. Now these days I always ask them to use it. But then you will explain why. Okay, if you can actually use another one is sometimes when you actually, it's called the TTT tracer, right? TTT tracer, if I create the dump for TTT tracer, only Microsoft can. So whenever I have a problem with Microsoft, crashes, I can do nothing about it. So we will generate either dump file or the TTT tracer dump or the dump file and do it. But what's the difference of the WinDBG? If you can DBG is much lighter, it's faster, why WinDBG? That is the key difference. The WinDBG, it is only can debug C++ code. The Visual Studio can debug C++ and C#. That is a big difference. You see what I mean? So what happens is, you will see sometimes I say, you better actually install the a Visual Studio because in the platform of 10.2, most of the component is written in assembly in C#. Okay, so except WinDL. all the DLs, they're all written in C#. It's one DL. Let's say this is the WS mapping EX DL. Okay, so Sergey written. Okay, so has written. So that DL, if you actually say, oh, I have a problem, with the WS mapping, in that case, you can actually install the WinDBG. That's okay. But if you actually say, I have a, comma-adding problem, I have a bulk load problem, I have EMM problems, these ones, it is the C written in C#, and in the C#, and we can actually solve it. Okay? So this is one. Okay? And when another thing is that we actually, first one is, let's say you have a crash, right? Crash. The first thing we'll ask is, you crash dump. But when you ask a crash dump, when you actually analyze the crash dump, you remember. What happened is, I actually always thinking about this way. First one is, whenever you actually have crash dump, I look at the crash dump. Is that which one is the suspicious one? When you have a suspicious one, then provide a corresponding PDB file to it. Now let me actually so I actually have a folder, and Lindsay and everybody send me the dump files. Okay. Let's say I actually did a crash. I will ask for give me dump. Okay, give me dump. So let's say he give me dump. Now how do I do this? Let me actually just using the Visual Studio, okay, to do this. I have all the dump files I actually created in my ctemp file. Okay, now look at this. This dump file. There's lots of dump files. Everybody send me dump files. So dump file. Okay, so I actually got dump file. Let's say auto dump, the default auto dump, right? What I do? Okay, you can actually analyze it. You don't have to come to me. And whenever in your one of the machine, you should actually install this. I double click on it. Okay, it actually will give you the dump. Okay, it automatically will actually map. The extension knows where you're going to dump. Okay, now on the right side, okay, now you want to actually see what where it is crashed. Where's it crashed? So what happened is on the right side you will see debug with managed only, debug with mixed, debug with the native only. What that means? What that means is if native means you want to debug the C++ code. If you want to actually have a managed, you debugging the C# code. If you have a mixed, you debugging both. When I actually doing this one, I always try it to see native first. Native first. Let's actually just check native. Okay. So I got a crash. I don't know where the crash, which actually component at the edge will. This is one of the from the customer. So what happened is, whenever you do this, okay, it will download all the symbols. Wait a minute. Okay, so sorry. I just debug the memory. I don't. Wait a minute. So. Okay. Okay, so I debug the native. Okay, did you see? What happened is right now I have this. Whenever you actually the first thing, first see is you want actually the first thing you want to see is the call stack. Where is the call stack? It is. You see, this is the call stack. Do you see that? So immediately I find out, somebody actually sent to me, oh, iManage file size EX is this one, because iManage file size is written in the C++. We can already know. Sometimes sometimes, did you see, if you actually get get a down file, you should see this. You should not see what we call the symbols. You should not see the symbols. You should see this user something something something, NT DL something something, user 32 use something. These are the system files. Okay, system files. But what happens is, what happens is you can actually get a feeling of it is, can we actually, instead of giving you memory address, we actually 00, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or something like that. Can we actually see what we call the symbols? Microsoft provides lots of symbol files for you, but it's only symbol files. It's called a PDB file, okay? Called the program debugging database. It actually is giving you. So what happens is you can actually go to load the symbol. You see, it will give you a hint. It says, what's going wrong? What's going wrong? So this one is user 32. This is NTDL. So what happens is, it actually will tells you a little bit about this one. Whenever you want to actually see. Sometimes, if I actually install with the symbol together, because I'm in file set. If sometimes, did you see if you try to load the symbol? So what? Okay. You see, if I actually look at this one, if I load the symbols, okay, it's loading the like Outlook symbols. You see, this one Microsoft didn't give us. Didn't give us. It will be say browse Outlook PDB. Huh? Windows, Microsoft provide all the symbols for system files, but not like Word. You know, what happened is, when I actually when I started develop in 1998 with this file set, I actually got a symbol file from Microsoft. We actually used to have a symbol file for. It is a great it's a great symbol file. We can actually just analyze what's going to go wrong. It gives you a very important hint. Once it crashes, we can just figure out what it. But later they disable this feature. We cannot actually get Outlook symbols. That's why what happens is when we actually give to the release the product. When you get a dump file, you will see like iManage file site is iManage.dl exclamation something address. Then you actually will say, load the symbol, it will give this thing. It will say iManage file site ex.pdb. Where's the PDB? We actually used to actually serve on the symbol server. We save it, but lately I cannot find it. So in that case, the next one, okay, because iManage file site DL is a very big project. I don't know which file you're looking for, because we have like a 100 CPP files, source file. We don't know which line it is actually is there. So what happened is, you can see what I did is, whenever you have this crash, I will give you a DL as a PDB, because the DL and the PDB need the exactly same timestamp. If you don't have a same timestamp built on the same grid, it will bark on you. It says, this is not, the symbol is not match your DL. It is the wrong one. So it will not actually, because it may be your file is actually modified, CPP file modified, it will not actually match exactly symbol. As soon as I actually find out this one, I will give you a DL, PDB, and then I will find the PDB. Then if we got a PDB, it will look like this. It will give you symbols now. Then I actually can say, oh, symbols. Then I can actually directly go to the source code. Usually, in the customer side, I don't need a customer side. Let's say this project is built on my machine. I can actually double click on it, I will go to source code. This is how I actually find out where it is actually the code. It is actually in Microsoft, I heard is the support, it actually can access the source code and the symbol file. Whenever you actually have this kind of problems, it's an automatic load symbol file. It will find out the exact match of your DL. It will go to the symbol server and it will match just like our a Windows symbol server. Because Windows, we have so many different Windows versions out there. How the Microsoft knows exactly? So what happens is, if you set up a symbol server correctly, we should go directly to the source code and people can find out. So you don't have to go to the, developer, ask, exactly what's going to happen. I wish I could do this. I ask many times, if you can do this, and everybody, can do this, and you can go like Visual, and even support can actually look at the source code. And as a matter of fact, they say Microsoft support is they're very good, and they even find out the code and they can check in the fix. Sometimes it's only one line fix, and you can actually just check it because if you know the program, right? So this is the way. Not only this one. It's not only for the crash. Not only I can solve a problem. Let's say we actually just have a problem with like S-MIME or like an embedded emails cannot file. We can actually give the source code. Let's say this is one C# code, right? The bug is in the bug. Let's say author is not populated up. I just teach Sham Center how to use it. So what happens is is very simple. We know this author, we will get it. It is, in the bulk loader, right? So we actually do the bulk loader, DL, PDB, and the corresponding CPP. Now we actually put it over there and put a breakpoint, and we can debug on it. Okay. So this one is, if they actually the program doesn't know, you can actually ask them to do this. In that case, we can actually debug the source code over there, right? Now, the same thing. Okay, the same thing. So I actually can. Okay. For the let me actually just for the WinDBG. Let me actually just get WinDBG. Okay, this is WinDBG, my WinDBG. Okay, so we can just do the same thing, right? If you actually create a dump file, I have Outlook dump file. Okay, so now it didn't give you a choice. You see, it didn't give you a choice. So what happened is, it's the same thing. You see, it actually will give you some symbol, but it's not the exact symbol. And what happened is you have to give this. Okay. So first one is you actually look at the the cost stack. I always go to cost stack. Did you see the cost? So this is a crash. The cost is crash here, crash here. Oh no! Now I know it is actually it's a crash the iManage file size. You always look at the the DLs, and you see, but you have to know which DL is ours, right? How do you find out the DL is ours? I will do this. You will go to modules. This is one of the ways you actually look at the modules. 1 minute. Okay. Look at the modules, right? You see? Okay. So look at the modules, and you see, single file. We don't have a single file match, and all this kind of sorts of things. Say I manage DL, and you can actually sort, sort by path. Okay. So this is the one way. If you actually go to this one, is Visual Studio is much easier to use, right? So let me actually just show you. Because the window, for the WinDBG, is a window too small. If I actually look at the natives, okay. So another thing is we can actually look at the modules. Look at the modules. Did you see? Look at the modules, right? Okay. Now look at the modules, and let me actually just say iManage file site, right? Okay. So iManage file site. Yes. Did you see? It's very interesting. Do you see? I actually because the iManage file size is the problem, right? We know crashed in that line. So what I did is it says symbol loaded. C temp, what's the symbol path it is? You see this one. So this one actually I debug with Lindsay. So what happened is I know it is iManage file site crashed. So I build my local debugger DL and put together, give Lindsay. Lindsay generated the crash dump, and I got this one. I put it in the same directory as the dump file, and I find out is this, and it will load the symbol. That is why when you go to core stack, it will give you all the symbols, and I can go to the source line and find out which one it is. Okay. Okay. So this is the way I actually doing this. So, and it's almost an hour. I think that's too much. And so I leave next session. I'm going to actually talk about how do you actually generate like a down files and all these kind of sorts of things. How do you actually look at all this?
Does anybody have any?
Okay. Any questions? Too much? Okay. So what happened is I want to actually show you this. Remember, if you actually this one because I'm in file side is written in C++. So I do this, right? But if I actually say, okay, let me actually just go this, okay? It will be a little bit different. Let's see if I look at the managed only. Look at this. I do managed only. If you actually say like EMM or PDB, it will be different. It will look like different. Like core stack. Okay, you see, this one didn't even give me a core stack in the C++. It will not give me. But if our crashed, let's say crash on the EMM or on like a bulk loader, it will give you. I don't have a sample right now. It will give you the assembly C# code, and you will see. And look at the modules. Okay, look at the modules. Sometimes it will be. Okay. Yeah, it will a little bit different. It will be a little bit different because if you look at the core stack of a managed one, most important thing, when you suspect it is a crash in the assembly.NET crash, you want to actually use View Studio, and you actually run the managed code, managed debugging. If you suspect C++, you want to actually use WinDBG or use View Studio, but with native one. Okay, but if you actually, even if you crashed in the C#, you still can look at the native one to look at it because C#, all the subsystem, the C# eventually is written in C++. All the Windows in the C++, because eventually it is actually the runtime, the .NET runtime. It eventually will call C++. It will actually show you the C++. Always C++ always give you hint. Another thing is you always want to look at the output. Output which DL. Lots of time people actually say, you know, I have some crash. I say, did you actually disable all the add-ins? He says, I disable everybody's add-in, okay? But if I actually go to modules, wait a minute. If sometimes I go to modules, I still can see the worksheet is loaded. They actually have some injections or something like that. Then lots of problems. I say, oh, disable this, and the problem gone. So we actually find out it is actually not a problem. Maybe it's a worksheet problem, or maybe it's actually. So these are the things that is very useful. You look at the modules, look at the paths, and look at which DL is running, loading, and what is actually not only the crash. Ping is also very useful, but ping is very useful. Sometimes you want to actually look at the thread because the thread is also it's very important. Okay, the thread is very important. Is because any thread it can hang. Sometimes you can actually say, oh, this is LexisNexis, stopping you or something like that. These are the different topics. As a matter of fact, Neil asked me to actually invest in investigation, a beverage and diamonds. They say randomly outlook hanging there. So what I do is I say, ask Lindsay, you go to the machine. If you hang, you first actually generate a dump for me. Then what it generates dump for me, because it's not a crash. Maybe it's crashed, it stay there, or maybe it's really hanging. So I will get the dump and look at all the threads to see which one is suspicious. Maybe which thread is holding us. Maybe it is not us. Maybe it's LexisNexis. Maybe it is actually other ones. We actually find all the problems. I will not only solve our problem. Remember, we have solve other third-party problems I cannot rename it. I find out all the other people's problems. Like this. It says like this. Okay. And I think it's action packed, and I speak I'm speaking almost 1 hour non-stopping, and you can a lot of digest. And I see you next time, and I will give you the how to generate dump files and all this kind of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. So thanks, Vincent. So just a reminder, the next one's on Thursday at 1 o'clock. So thank you again.
Right.
Thank you, Carl.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Vincent.
Yeah, no problem.